Hello Zimbabwe. Today I am joined by Pastor Kamoya. My name is Manashe Jimbe and I'm here with Etosha Gardens and Shelter Incorporated, trying to educate the general public more on the concepts of grief, death, and most importantly, persisting in the faith of Jesus Christ through such difficult and tumultuous times. So, Pastor, one of the issues that we often face in Zimbabwe is the issue of sudden death. People often just get into accidents unexpectedly. You hear someone, angachikwara panapa kaenda kupare, gone. And these stories, there are millions and millions of them. Hundreds of Zimbabweans on a daily basis are losing people that they love more than anything. So how do we approach the issue of sudden death? Because sometimes you can prepare for these things. Hospital, pure prognosis, but now, unexpectedly. How do we approach such issues?
Thank you for that question. It is the only time whereby my people or our Shona people compare deaths, comparing death with death. That is where you hear them say, kufa kwe arwara kuri nani. They are not saying we don't feel pain if angachirwara afa, but we are saying the level of grief, the level of weight that comes upon us when we lose our beloved one in a sudden death. It's so catastrophic. So catastrophic. So we face such challenges many times. Many times. Normally I remember this story that happened to us before, whereby a groom passed on in the morning before his wedding. Oh my goodness. A mysterious death. We receive a call, we're preparing to go to the wedding, but the news say the groom is no more. So we thought, that is it suicide? They say no. Just said, I'm not feeling well yesterday. Then he went to sleep. In the morning they said, time up, he can't even wake up. He's gone. Just like that. So we have to go to the bride now and consult such a person. So when we arrived, the bride had requested a wedding garment, a wedding gown, that I wanted to wear it. So she was wearing, sitting in the corner, a wedding garment. And on that day, I took everything from the friends of Job, in Job chapter 2, that is Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar. When they hear that catastrophic has come upon their friend Job, they went there, and it is written that when they arrived, they just sit and be silent. Sometimes you don't need to talk in such a moment, but your presence could be well enough. In that day, I arrived and we sit. We couldn't even find words to speak. But what we did, we just sit there and watch her cry and watch her mourn. That is very important also. It is not every time where we should speak. And if you want to speak it every time, sometimes we can, what I can call, like for example, my daughter Sweetie, like, don't worry, don't zirehedutese. She's worried. Her husband to be just passed on the day of their wedding. So it said that the Zophar, the Bildad, and the Eliphaz just sit there for certain days. Then later on, cry and mourn with Job. Then later on, comforted Job. So I think I normally do that. Sometimes I just arrived and sit and walk the journey with the person. Then if certain, and it's one of the most difficult things is to try to communicate with a person. Because most of the time when sudden death happened, most of the people are in denial.
True.
I also did that. Mind you, I also faced such things. We are a wounded healer. Wow. I'm a wounded healer. Yes, chaplains. Like what Paul said in 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 2. He said, the comfort that God given us is also the comfort that we are about to give to you. So as ministers, as pastors, as chaplains, we are wounded healers. We also face such things. I remember, so you make many calls. Is it true? Are you really sure that he is the one died? So people in denial are very difficult to communicate with. So sometimes I advise people to give them closure. If it is possible, I know there will be a time of body viewing, but give that person closure. Go and see the body of their beloved one, so that they can get closure and they can move from a denial point of perspective until they start to accept that for sure it's just gone, like that. So then from that moment, it is where you can start to talk, you can start engage, you can start to counsel, but don't undermine whatever they are feeling. You have to tell them that their feeling is normal. So to me, that is how I approach sudden death.
Wow, thank you, Pastor. We truly do have to create an environment where we can validate the emotions and say that they're seen, that they're heard, and that the emotions are valid, truly. Yes. But how do we now work around the challenges when it comes to the emotional aspect? That's probably the most difficult aspect, where we feel like our world has fallen apart. How can we not only just provide consolation to these inconsolable individuals, but also encourage them to say this is not the end, that there's still life, that we can still persist? Because now some people could lose the breadwinner. They feel like they're incapacitated. The person that I was holding on to my whole life is now gone. Some people have miscarriages and stillbirths. They thought they'd atotinga the baby products and everything. How do they still persist?
I can't remember any day whereby I prepare a sermon or I prepare a visit with a message without both. To me, they work hand in glove. To me, it is one message. Even if you could read Paul when he was console their fellow beloved members that lost their loved ones. There is consolation, but also there is encouragement. So to me, sometimes I console by encouraging them to rise up and face the world again. Because most of the people, when they are grieving, they withdraw from the society. They withdraw from the society.
Shouldn't be so. That's how the enemy gets us, through isolation.
So I console, but I also encourage them during the consolation. Or I can encourage them by consoling to them. You have ability to continue, you have ability to move on. And sometimes time heals. So to me, I don't see them I don't use them differently. To me, they operate as one thing. Every message, whenever it is a funeral, whenever I'm going to preach at a funeral, I have a message of reconciliation. But after I have a message of reconciliation, I have to encourage. Wherever is a pastoral visit, we arrive there, we say we are very sorry for what you faced. And after we console, we encourage. So to me, I think they have to work hand in hand.
Truly. Thank you so much, Pastor. Thank you so much for your time. You've truly assisted us in knowing how to still persist, in understanding that we must validate individuals' emotions, understanding that we don't always have to talk. We don't always have to have a mouth open, but often an ear and a heart to listen and understand. Thank you. So what would one final piece of advice be to all the viewers out there? One final parting message for everyone watching at home right now.
Grief is real. And grief is something that is so natural to our emotions when we lose something. But what I can say is that one needs to be in Christ, need to find Christ for all the comfort that you need. Yes, like I said before, we will come and talk to you, but we are limited in terms to reach in the inner person in you. The total healing begins inside. We can come and present you scriptures, we can come, but the true healer, the true comforter, the true peace giver is Jesus himself. So if you want a true healing, a true comfort, a true counsel, you have to find Jesus Christ. You have to have Christ in you. and God the Father of all comfort. So to me, that is my last parting words.
Thank you so much, Pastor. So never forget that in Christ there's hope, in Christ there's peace. When things seem impossible, He has everything that you need. My name is Menashe Jumbe, and I was joined by Pastor Kamoyo at Etosha Gardens. See you next time. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and Pastor's details will also be within the description below. See you next time.